Okay, so this one, this was that specific time when Catherine was like got destroyed in that Archon quest with Sumeru. And so it was the first time that she wasn't there, and I was like, let me see if I can get through there, and I have to take a picture. So like that's why, you know? And then I just took a picture of me outside of it, and then a picture of me inside of it. I think that's what's happening in this picture. So, I just took a picture of like Yaimiko and Raiden Shogun because, they're best friends and everything, and I was like, why not? I'm Raiden, like I have Yaimiko too, but like Yaimiko was like in game, and I was like, why not? Pretty cool, right? Like I did finish it eventually, but I was like I passed it so many times. I was like, let me actually do it. And it took a long while. And like the puzzles were really fun. Like especially since I was in like that rare exploratory mood. But like yeah, it was really fun. And I feel like it's like a universal experience because every streamer I watch try to get Kirata, they have trouble. And I was like, I had trouble too. Like it's kind of whack, right? It's kind of funny because um Luca was never my favorite character and I found him kind of generic. I know, me calling someone else generic considering I'm the type of person to defend Aurora, Cinderella, like, hey, their dream might be simple, but it's universal and personal. And I don't know. I just never found him that interesting. His little ponytail makes him less attractive to me. So there's just a lot against him. Like I wanted to like him, but I didn't. And this whole war dance thing is so ridiculous to me because he has a robot arm. That's his power. And I'm like, this is kind of unrealistic that like I didn't finish, but like I'm like it's kind of unrealistic if you get to the end. You know what I mean? Because everybody else has all these powers and everything. And it's like I get the underdog story, but I don't. Because I'm like this is kind of um like I can't suspend my disbelief this much. Because he just has a metal arm. Like that's it. You know what I mean? Yeah, I was with Hill on this one. I was like, you're being kind of ridiculous that like you won't ever lose. I was like, of course you're gonna lose, but you have to keep getting back up. That's the whole point. To like never lose is kind of ridiculous in my opinion. So it's really hard to like really relate to Luca here. But I will say I don't like seeing him sad. Like I did cry when I found out about like the little girl and everything and how she was constantly battling and he was constantly battling and she lost and like he's like if I lose will anybody I just I don't I still need to finish the story quest but I did have some thoughts about the war dance so far. I just because like the little girl story did remind me of like something I do think of, like how like oftentimes people will say like, "Oh, if you have a disease, you shouldn't like have children," and it's like maybe they're like in quotations right, but like that kind of thinking can lead to eugenics, in my opinion. Like if the only people to make it are like the strong and capable people, what happens to what drives people to care for someone else? Like, what happens to the resilience? Like, it takes for a doctor to lose a dying child, then go on to their next patient because they have to. Like, the next patient's like relying on them. Like, both people needed him, and in different ways. But like he knows that that child he couldn't save must have broken him somehow. But he knows he's needed by other people, like in the same way, essentially. Maybe even the same condition, maybe better, worse. Um, for like hours at a time, you have to be in that mental state. Like, I know I couldn't do that. So I'm really grateful to people who just gotta put their own mental fortitude to the test to make the world a better place. So I do like that about Luca. Like he's definitely the kind of person to do that, but I don't know, the war dance, it's kind of like unrealistic, but whatever. I'm sure someone loves him and not just for his looks, but for his story. I'm sure there's someone out there. Like I just it's really impressive how and I feel like in like that resilience can be like in other places too, and with it still technically being men's mental health month, I'll say that like I really appreciate and respect the men who like put their lives on the line, put their mental fortitude on the line, because it's really sad that like they have a lot of these like soldier, he's straight up military, making decisions that you don't want to make, but that have to be made, like being a CEO, even being a manager, even when when it's done right, people really well should really appreciate it and respect that that kind of discipline and everything. And it's very sad and stressful that those kinds of things often go unnoticed. Um, but it is what, and it's like certain people are just like made for that kind of thing. Like it's what they signed up for. It's what they're made for. This mental fortitude that they have, and they don't know that they have it until it's put to the test. And hopefully, it's not put. Hopefully, in the future, it can be put to the test less and less and less. Like I know that doctors in like the 1800s, they they a lot of their patients must have like died of like things that we don't die of now, but like they definitely like laid down the groundwork because medicine and just a lot of things are like very cumulative. Like you have to like do this to know this, and then like we talk about like the father of medicine, the father of like business, father of everything, but it's like they were shooting in the dark and they had to do a lot of trial and error. And it must have been really depressing seeing how like women would die a lot of childbirth, and oh, that must have been really depressing to like watch that day in and day out. So thank you. I meant to get like well, I wanted to get something for Father's Day out, but thank you. I don't know. I feel like Luca's story might have made more sense, like not his story quest, but like the war dance would have made more sense if he was like, I don't know, if it instead of it being the war dance, it was like him just being like a soldier or something, or like something smaller. I don't know, like his power set doesn't really make sense to like. It's funny. I was like, wow, Skirk's kind of mean, like in the beginning, but like I like that, like, at the end of the quest, it's like, oh, it's nice that she, like, remembered her kindness and that she didn't, fully forget, like, her purpose, even though she went through, like, all of this pain and suffering. And I honestly feel like it's it's kind of Cinderella-esque almost. Like she remember even though she went through all of this like stress and anguish, she remembers her kindness. And I feel like not a detriment to this story. In fact, if they meant it, it really makes sense, but I feel like for other like stories that like have something against Cinderella but still like do the Cinderella formula where it's like girl is like trapped and is sad and can't help herself and then she like gets stronger and then she's like, but I'm still kind. Like I feel like a lot of stories, lesser stories will be like, yeah, we like the idea that she was like really sad and helpless as a child, but like by the time you're an adult, you should like have all of your life figured out together. Like it's kind of ridiculous to like and like if you like go through all this stress, you're basically a pushover if you're not like attacking or stressing other people out, you know? And then so like she's like this angry person, like as an adult, maybe as even as a teenager, and you're like, yeah, I get why you're like this, but you're kind of unlikable. You know what I mean? And um, then it's like, I think she like meets someone or something, and she's like, I'm not like other girls, and blah blah blah, and all of that. And she's like boss babe or whatever, and it's like not interesting, and like she can be more interesting, while if she becomes kinder. But then you're like, I don't know, you're kind of a jerk. I kind of don't want you to have a happy ending, and it's like that, but like not here specifically, but like because, like, I guess I'm just, like, worried that, I like that Skirk was, like, rough, like, don't get me wrong, like, it makes sense why she was rough, and if you wanna have, like, a rough, like, hard to emotionally connect character, even if it's a girl, makes perfect sense. I just hate when, like, they take, like, established characters that are soft and kind and do that. Like, that's my issue because it's like, "Oh, I don't wanna do the effort of making my own story, so I'll just, quote, unquote, 'fix' this other one." Essentially, I'm just worried that they, like, took inspiration from those, like, stories I was just talking about, and were like, "Oh, this is what's popular with Americans," and I was like, "Please don't let that be the reason," like, they went with this story for Skirk, because I like the idea of her, like, being a kind person, but, like, it was kinda beaten out of her, essentially, but, like, because she, like, reconnected with her emotional side, which was, like, weakening her because she was ignoring it, like she understands now that like I need both and like it's gonna hurt more, but like if I can get through this, it's important. And like also she kind of just deserved to be that girl that wanted to just explore, but it was taken from her by like awful selfish people. And she was also trained by an awful selfish person. And it's like this weird dichotomy of, well, they destroyed me, but they also saved me, but I would need to be saved if I wasn't destroyed by these same types of people. Like, okay, tangent aside, my whole thing is like it's kind of funny that like in the beginning you'll see Skirk like sad and roughed up, and I feel like why she is the way she is and why she was like so like adverse to like feeling her feelings, because I think Cinderella was like feeling her feelings and kind throughout the story. I think she wanted to be that way, but like Sertology was basically like, "You won't be that way, and if you are that way, you're useless to me," and she would've, like, died because, like, I don't think he cared about her. I think he like, his whole thing was like, "I'm looking for someone to give me a good fight because I'm bored," and I'm like, "That's straight up evil." To, like, just take a child that you only saved because of your own selfish, like, ambitions, and it's like, shouldn't you save someone like, shouldn't that be innate? Because in my opinion, it's one thing to be like, I don't want to save. It's another thing to be like, I'm going to save, but I'm also going to torture you and like just like he's not a good teacher. Like I know that she's like he did what he could do and whatever. And I'm like, I understand why she's like that, and I get why she's like that, and I'm not blaming her. The only person I really blame is Sortology for being awful. And that weird friend dude that's like, "Mm, I'm okay with this happening. He's rough around the edges, but it's fine." And I'm just like, you got your own problems to deal with. And it's like, I feel like he wasn't a good teacher because you're supposed to, I feel like I feel like he represents a lot of people that think they're good teachers, but they really aren't. Like, I don't know if he even cares about being a good teacher, or if he was like, this is what you're gonna do because this is how you're gonna survive. This is how I got stronger, so this will work for you. And it's like a lot of people be like, well, I don't get why you're like this. I'm not like that. And it just kind of dips into the whole like, if you're different, you get treated differently, and I mean this purely like in the like this is what I mean when I say like kindness is like seen as like a weakness most of the time, and it's not a weakness. It's literally like I think people miss the point, and like I feel like, and it's kind of annoying and exhausting, and I'm sure you've heard this like 8 million times. But like people will often be like, "Oh, kindness is a weakness. Kindness, the world isn't kind, so why should I treat my family with kindness? Because that's not the real world." And it's like it could be. Also, that's a stupid reason not to be kind to your like family or kids or whatever. Because it's like, oh, I want my kids to be strong and tough. And it's like, guess how they get strong and tough? You specifically have to be the one to be like, this is your safe place. Like, our family is your safe place. That way, when they go out to the world, they're not stressed out. They don't have to rely on the kindness of strangers that you say doesn't exist. So they often end up alone and isolated, and they can't even rest or find relaxation at home, and so they're like stressed out, and they're worse off than they would have been, and they have this false toughness where it can be broken apart very easily by the world. But when you're kind, when you offer your home as like a respite, it's like, oh, this is, I don't have to prove myself to you, or I can be myself because I know that my family likes me how I am. They, like, don't care that I'm goofy or maybe, like, a little judgy or, like, a little, like, lazy or, like, messy or whatever, because they see my good qualities, and I've nurtured my good qualities, and I've naturally wanted to be a better person because I see what I want to be. I see what I can be if I follow their example. And you tend to fall for less schemes, fall into less toxic relationships, because it's like people often forget that it's usually the people near you that like will abuse you, so it's like you need to learn how to like differentiate and everything. Like it's often not like a stranger. So I think people forget that it's important to like give your kids a respite, let them know that it's okay to be themselves so that they're more self-confident in themselves. You know what I mean? Now, on the flip side, which I'm kind of seeing also, and it's not a good thing, you need a balance, Because like people kind of miss the point a lot when they hear, "Oh, kindness must rule out." They immediately switch to, "Oh, these intelligent jobs, these jobs that aren't manual labor or anything, they're all useless and pointless and they're not as important." And it's like, no, the point is that whether we're like in a society that like values intelligence over kindness, which in my opinion is just kind of emotional intelligence, but like whether they value like more IQ, more like facts and figures and all of that, or whether we swing the other way and it's like feelings and opinions, like intent, your thoughts and opinions matter more. You need to, kindness will always be that balancer to be like they're the person that like it it makes people be the person that like will always reach out to those that are ignored under whichever system, and they will, no matter how like badly they're treated by society, they're the ones to like bring people back into the forefront and be like, hey, you matter too. No matter what, you matter too. You know what I mean? And kindness isn't just like oh, you can do whatever you want and that's fine. It's like, no, it's more of a, listen, I know you can be better, and I know that like it's hard for you to be better because of the way you were treated in your life, but it's like how people will say if you keep calling someone evil or awful, they're never gonna have a reason to not be evil or awful. And maybe that person will rise above, but you can't expect that of people. And so it's like you're usually creating more strife than was there in the first place. You're not helping. And so it's like you need to just you need to like I feel like I said it. You need to remember, you need to tell people like I understand that life is hard and your life wasn't fair and these people didn't treat you fairly, but like this matters. But like you matter. You specifically I know can do better. And I know that like the world can be cruel and evil, but you need to remember that that's not the majority of people. That's just the minority of people guilt tripping a huge portion of the population and guilt tripping them. And it's not fair. And I feel like a little bit of kindness can like really, really bloom and blossom. Uh, I kind of went along the way. Oh, I kind of like talked kind of a bit for this. Um, but and I hope like most of it made sense. Please comment if you want me to clarify a bit more. I will, or add your own thoughts. That's also it's always appreciated. So again, I wish the best for all of you, and especially um stay safe out there and take care of yourself, men. And boys, if you're under 18, I guess. Um, I just hope that you all find your path in life because you're all important and matter. I'll see you later. Bye.